What is up, YouTube? This is Psychedelic Scizor, and I am here with my draft analysis for the League on Showdown, or the LSD. Yes, it's very appropriate that Psychedelic Scizor is in a league named after acid, so nice. I'm not using the beautiful slides that were made for this league because I did not have time to edit, and I just want to get this out. Um, Besides the editing part, it also would kind of be weird for me to go in order because I made a lot of transactions on this team, and I kind of inherited it partway through the draft. So explaining it in draft order wouldn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm kind of just going to explain the mons on my team and why they're there. Like, for example, as you can see, I did not draft Mega Camera up second round. That was originally a Mega Swampert because it was a rain team originally, and I didn't want that, so I free agented that out. Um, but I'm kind of just going to go over like all the mons and how they fit on the team. I'm not going to make it too ridiculously long. But Torn T is around one pick. Is kind of borderline, but I'm happy with it because of how strong the rest of this team is, in my opinion. Um, and I'm also going to go over some other free agents I made that are going to be active week two. Well, actually, no, I'm not. I lied. I will make a separate video for that. So, sorry to tease you with that, but there will be two free agents made that will be active week two. So, that'll be something to look forward to. First, we've got Tornadus Therian. Very, very versatile mon, so it's not too bad as a first round pick. Um, Viably offensive on the physical and special side, with good coverage on both sides to break. Really, just it has good flying stab, and then it has the coverage to break whatever mons resist flying stab. That's really all you need. Also, a fantastic speed tier, which is just freaking awesome. I love having really high speed tiers, and Torn just kind of fills that role. So it'll be a nice bulky pivot with Regenerator, and its bulk does function, higher than it actually is because of Regenerator and being so fast. So that's pretty nice. Uh, Next, like I said, we got Mega Camerupt. I still like this mon. I think it'll be pretty cool, but if I said I drafted it because it's amazing, I'd be lying to you. I drafted it because it's the bottom tier Mega, and it gave me a lot of extra points in the draft. Also, I was sniped of Mega Banette, and I never thought I would say I was sniped of Mega Banette, so that's kind of embarrassing. But this thing is so ridiculously powerful, and I think with all the Volt Turn on this team, with Tornadus, and as you can see, Thunderous and Rotom, I can get in Mega Camerupt pretty well, and it just destroys things when it's in. Um, like, it's one of the few mons that can say that as a special attacker, it can two-hit KO a max special defense Mega Venusaur, um, just with a neutral hit. No super effective coverage, just a neutral stab attack. It will two-hit KO max special defense Mega Venusaur, which is awesome. Sheer Force is a big reason for that on top of the monstrous special attack set. So it's almost like it's holding a Life Orb that doesn't give it Life Orb damage on top of the special attack, so that's awesome. Also gives me a couple Trick Room options. Not that my team has Trick Room at the moment, but I will pick that up at some point, so that'll be nice. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, one of my Z users is Tornadus. You get 3 in this league, and my next one is Como. I think Como is a fantastic sweeper just because of the multiple ways that it has to sweep, and you stop each sweeping set differently. Like, you don't deal with the Dragon Dance set the way you deal with a Belly Drum set, and you don't deal with either of those sets the same way you deal with a Rock Polish set. Or Autotomize, but same thing, really. And even then, Autotomize sets can be physical or special, so that's pretty cool. I really like its mixed potential. It's multiple ways to set up. It's great coverage. It doesn't get the Clangorous Soul Blaze or whatever the Omni boosting Z move is, obviously because that's kind of broken. And this thing hates fairy types, but Mega Camerupt is a great switch into fairy types, so that works out pretty well. Also is a Stealth Rocker, which is nice. It might situationally have to be a Stealth Rocker. Who knows? This team I think is pretty good on Stealth Rocks, though. It has a couple really reliable ones. And 3 great abilities in Bulletproof, Soundproof, and Overcoat, giving it different immunities depending on whatever it needs, which is awesome. I love Como. I think it's one of the most underrated mons, and I want to finally see it reach its potential, I should say. Because Close Combat finally gave it that sweeping potential that it always kind of had. Next, we've got Araquanid, which, you know what Araquanid does. It clicks Liquidation and it kills something. But besides filling that role, it now gets Sticky Web this generation, so it now is not completely predictable. It clicks Sticky Web and then it destroys things with Liquidation. But Sticky Web plus Komo seems very strong to me, and I do want to try it out. It is very, very bulky. It is my bulky water for this team, which I'm fine with because I don't really like the other passive bulky waters like a Jellicent or a Melodic. Well, Melodic it has ways around its passiveness, and Vaporeon even is strong, but my main point is this thing packs a little more offensive pressure, and Sticky Webs are awesome. This is probably in competition with Rubombi for being the best Sticky Web user. I personally like Araquanid a little bit more, although I think they're both pretty damn good. Next mon is, I think, one of the best offensive sweepers in the game. That is Thunderous Incarnate. Two fantastic abilities in Prankster and Defiant. Being able to be so strong while running both physical and special sets is awesome, and I like how it's not one of those mons that just can run physical or special. Like, when it runs both, it actually runs them both very well. It's not just, okay, it can run that to catch you off guard. Like, no. A Wild Charge is going to hurt from this thing just as much as a Thunderbolt is going to hurt from this thing. So that's awesome. It can set up with Bulk Up or Nasty Plot. It does get Prankster Defog, which is nice. Prankster T-Wave. And Nasty Plot is the big selling point, though. Nasty Plot is not widely distributed, so mons that can get it and sweep with it are extremely powerful. Thunderous is my last Z-move user because +2 Z-move will secure a kill on pretty much anything it hits, so that's kind of awesome. I like Thunderous for that reason. If it got Air Slash, that would be even better, but it doesn't. It has to rely on HP Flying, but we can live with that. Next pick, we've got Nihilego as a actual reliable stealth rocker somewhat now. Nice offensive stealth rocker. Very bulky on the special side, but will die if you even think of an Earthquake close enough to it. But that said, if your opponent doesn't have a really bulky steel type or a really bulky ground type to take its dual stabs, it will destroy things, because its special attack is just going to keep rising and rising as it kills things, which is also very good. It doesn't get good coverage outside of its dual stabs, and that's kind of what holds it back. But I also like this as a great Toxic Spiker. I think those are really important to have, especially for an offensive team like this, because you know me, of course I'm going to draft offense. So, yeah. Nihilego is a very viable Scarfer, Specs user, T-Spiker, Stealth Rocker. It fills a lot of roles for this team, and I'm very happy with it. Although next we've got actually probably the most passive mon I've drafted in God knows how long, and that is Registeel. I did need a bulky steel type for this team. I think every team needs one, and this honestly is like the poster child for bulky steel types. Pure steel, just going to take any hit you throw at it, period. You see it run Shookaberry or Choppleberry quite a bit. Does get counter, I believe. Yeah, it does, so that's kind of a nice tech it has. It does have enough coverage to make it not super passive. Like, just, it can hit what it needs to wall, but it's not going to be a giant offensive threat. But I'm still happy with it. It is my now defensive rocker for this team. One thing I do love about this draft is that it has a ton of stealth rockers that are all, and it's got several of them that are very consistent. A bunch of consistent stealth rockers and a couple situational ones where I never feel like I'm going to be pressured into, alright, I don't like this mon, but I have to bring it because I have rocks. No, I feel like I'm always going to want to bring at least one, if not more, of my stealth rockers, so that's going to be pretty nice. I'm going to skip my next pick actually and go to Wigglytuff, because Wigglytuff is the big partner for Registeel, because Wigglytuff passes it hugely fat wishes. It also can set up Stealth Rocks itself, so that Stealth Rocking pressure is taken off of Registeel, so it can run other things like Curse, for example. Wigglytuff also gets fantastic coverage. Also gets 3 usable abilities, Cute Charm is definitely viable if I run a physically defensive set. Competitive is a really good ability, so you can't just defog on it. It can beat defoggers, as it can just keep spamming rocks, and if they defog it away, I'm just going to get stronger and stronger and eventually kill them. And Frisk is nice for scouting. And not the greatest stats in the world, but its defenses, for how pitiful they are completely taken up by the fact that it has that giant HP stat. I really enjoy Wigglytuff from using it in the NU League, so that's pretty nice. Plus base 85 special attack is not bad for a wall. I can definitely take it, and its stabs are definitely walled by steel types, but it does get Focus Blast and Fire Blast, so that's pretty well taken care of. And so going back to Rotom Mow, I already have an electric type, but it's definitely an offensive one, and I still want a slow, bulky pivot, because all my pivots so far are pretty fast. And Rotom Mow fit the tier that I needed, like tier 4, I believe, maybe tier 3. Pretty sure it's tier 4, though. And I also like having electric types that are able to freely Volt Switch because they pressure ground types, and that's why I like Rotom Mow, Heliolisk, and Rotom Wash, because all of them have a secondary stab, or in Heliolisk's case, Surf, that can destroy ground types on switch in. So ground types are not going to want to switch in on Rotom Mow to block its Volt Switch, because Leaf Storm is going to absolutely destroy them. Of course, it's got the triple status, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, and Thunder Wave. It's got typical Rotom stuff. You know what Rotom does at this point, and it does a very good job of it. I think Rotom Mow is pretty freaking underrated. Also just destroys water types. I love that. I absolutely love that. So, not much to explain here. We're going to move on. This is a pick that I somewhat regret, but it's not the worst in the world. Picked up Basculin out of tier 6. Mostly for adaptability Aqua Jet. I wanted priority on my team. I didn't really have any at this point, except for Prankster, T-Wave, but that's not going to hurt anything. So I wanted priority, and Basculin came out of a tier that was pretty damn near unusable. So it's still very strong with adaptability, but I'm just going to tell you right now, this is one of the mons I'm going to free agent, so don't get too attached to it. That's why there's not even a nickname there. We have got Absol. I was going to pick up Pangoro, but Pangoro was taken, and then I realized Absol actually has even stronger knockoffs than Pangoro. In fact, the only knockoffs in the game that are stronger than Absol's are Hoopa Unbound, and Hoopa just got a knockoff in Ultra Sun and Moon. So before Ultra Sun and Moon, Absol had the strongest knockoff, and I even believe Sucker Punch in the game. So that's pretty awesome. Well, okay, no. It's Crawdaunt and Hoopa. I take that back. But besides those two, which we know how powerful those are, Absol is really strong. Really frail, but it's a nice wall breaker. I wish this thing could have gotten Z moves, but obviously I think the 3 that I gave it to earlier really used them a lot better than Absol does. Does have some decent abilities. Pressure for pressure stalling walls. Super Luck for critting through walls instead of having to be patient with them. And then Justified if I can switch this thing into a knockoff and get a +1 attack boost. Yeah, I needed a not bulky dark type. I needed a dark type to beat bulky psychic types, which kind of destroyed me at this point if Araquanid wasn't brought. And even then, Araquanid isn't that strong with its bug stabs, so I definitely wanted Absol to be able to just nuke those. And I'm happy with it. Absol plus Webs is pretty strong. Stab, Sucker Punch, very strong, so I'm happy with it. Also forgot to mention can set up with Swords Dance, which is nice. I've used Absol before, and I've been kind of underwhelmed with it, but I also had to lean on it a lot harder than I am this season. So hopefully, without having so much pressure on it, it can thrive a little better. Last pick, I don't know how this lasted. The last pick, but got Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is a freaking monster with Sheer Force. Also, another very reliable Stealth Rocket user and a reliable T-Spike user. I have 2 T-Spike users. That is crazy to think about. So that is freaking awesome. It's going to be able to play both offensive and defensive roles on this team because I feel like I have both covered on this team, so it can run wherever it needs to. not feel pressured that it has to be a special wall breaker, because I have stuff like Thunderous and Tornadus and Mega Camerupt, and I don't have to have it defensive because I have Registeel and Wigglytuff and also Mega Camel. So Nidoqueen's awesome. I am very excited to use this. I do feel like it kind of overlaps with Nihilego, but I needed a better ground type than Camerupt, so I could not pass up on a chance to get Nidoqueen, so I went and took it. So if you guys like what the Oakland A's Elves are doing, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do what you do with the YouTube videos. That was a very rushed outro. I don't care. See you guys later.